Good people, if you are a Kenyan like me, at home or anywhere in the world, this video is for you. I have just come across a very disturbing video of a young Kenyan strapped to an explosive in Russia. If that video is to be believed, that young Kenyan was lured to Russia on the pretext that he was going to get a job. He ended up fighting at the front lines without any experience or training. And now he's being used as what is called a kamikaze, a human weapon. Now, we have seen stories about Kenyans in the Middle East, many of them stranded on the streets with children because they went there on the pretext of working. Then they found they were working under slave-like conditions. They can't go home and they can't have a decent life where they're at. Why is this? Why is our government sending Kenyans out there, then abandoning them? This is a question that every Kenyan should ask themselves. I, for one, I have been watching what is happening in my country and I am disturbed. I am disturbed enough to say enough is enough. No more. We who can must speak out about what is happening in the country. Just this week, we have lost a young man, Nick Wambugu, a filmmaker, who was in perfectly good health before he did that film, Blood Parliament. He ended up in detention, charged with terrorism or whatever trumped up charges that the government could come up with. Right there is the weaponization of the judiciary against citizens. Youth have died under police fire. More than 200 of them and counting have died. They've been shot dead. Disappearances are rising. Repression is now obvious. We are being surveilled. We are being followed. We are being killed. We are being poisoned for speaking up against bad governance. So, if you're a Kenyan like me, and you see what is happening in our country, and you know that that situation, as I do, is not tenable, this is your chance to speak up. People with a voice are conscious, and people that can do this safely. We must talk about what is happening in our country and say it's no longer tenable. It's not acceptable, it is not right, it is not proper. And those that are doing this to our country, starting with the president himself, his cronies and associates, must be stopped. Now, talking about Nick Wambugu, that young man is dead. Why is he dead? Healthcare in Kenya has become unachievable. When you're sick in the country, you're dancing with the grave. You're either going to die or suffer, get poor trying to find treatment. Why? Because the health system that was meant to support Kenyans has been looted. We know about SHA, we know about CS Duale, and we know what the Somali community in Kenya, those that are within proximity to power, have done with SHA. The looting is obvious. It's undeniable. If anybody would like to argue with that, I would like for them to peruse data, reports that are coming in from fictitious hospitals being paid billions of Kenya shillings or dollars for no service rendered, while genuine hospitals go without. We have seen it in Minnesota. Kenyans, Somalis, let me be very specific because there is no gray area here. Kenyan Somalis looting healthcare money from the US and bringing that money back home to invest. The result? Kenya is marked as a destination for global money laundering. What does that do to us as a people? We suffer. We suffer because you can no longer do legitimate business. Transactions are being monitored. So generally the discomfort is being felt by everyone. But what is painful and unacceptable is that only a small clique of people, President Ruto, his cronies, friends, and associates, benefit from destroying our country. Well, if you're like me, you will know how much it has taken to bring Kenya to where it is. My grandmother went to the forest to fight against the colonizers. Your grandfather went there. Your mother, your brother, your sister. We were affected fighting to reclaim our country from British colonial rule. We did that. We built the country with a lot of pain and sacrifices to where we were during the Kibaki era. Schools were thriving. Healthcare was great. Linda Mama and other safety nets for citizens were working. And then suddenly, we have a government from 2022 to now. Barely 3 years down the line, the government has no money. The economy is grinding to a halt. Youth are dying by the dozen. Repression is on the rise. Surveillance is now legal. I mean, this is a time when people who care about the country with a conscience, people who are saying enough is enough. Because you'll be thinking, I will not speak because they're going to kill me. Yeah, you could go to prison. I've been there and done that. But even silence is going to kill you. So what shall we do as a country, as a people affected by what is going on and who know this situation is no longer tenable? For me, this is where I draw the line. I will say, I will speak no matter what. If you know that what is going on in Kenya is not tenable, if you've been affected by it, touched by it, if you feel the pain of building a country for our children and our own selves, for future generations, and you cannot stand to see this, all these gains being watered down by a small group of people, yeah, speak up. Speak up or forever hold your peace. For me, this is where I draw the line. There will be no more silence from my part. And I would like for Kenyans of goodwill to come together with one very loud voice and speak without stopping, because when you see the things that are happening now, don't think it will stop with the youth who died last year or the ones who died the year before. No, it doesn't stop. What goes around comes around. I am a journalist. I have written acres of page, and I know that colleagues have written acres of page about what is wrong with Kenya. We keep writing, we keep talking, and they keep doing what they are doing. So I've come to a point where I'm beginning to think that maybe a Venezuela situation happening in Kenya is not so bad. Yeah? When you try to use diplomatic means of removing a bad government in office, and they respond by killing our youth, they respond by abducting our youth, they respond by surveillance, they respond by making the country unlivable, what shall you do? What do you do? Kenyans are being pushed to the wall. We have got to find a way to reclaim our country. You know, in Swahili we say, amani haiji ila kwa ncha ya upanga. For there to be peace, there will have to be war. For there to be peace, there must be justice. But how can we talk about justice when even the judiciary, our judicial service systems have been corrupted enough that youth whose only crime is speaking up against bad governance are being arrested, they're being jailed, they're being killed, they're dying in prisons, they're dying on the streets, they're dying at home, they're dying everywhere. We cannot talk about justice when the judicial service, the judiciary in my country is corrupted. We cannot talk about accountability when the checks and balances that are in place, Parliament no longer speaks. The country has been sold to the highest bidder. We have seen what is happening in the northern rangelands. We have seen it happening in Kajiado, my home county, where people claiming to come and conserve the environment and wildlife are taking away land from communities. People are being landless en masse. And we are still silent? Well, for me, no more. This is where I drew the line. I will speak my truth. And if that truth does not set me free, if I die today because I have said what I have to say, so be it. If this video connects with you, if it connects with how you feel, make your own video. Let us come together and talk about what is happening in Kenya, because we have an election loading. The drums of war are beating. Division is rife. We have seen what happened in 2007. We saw what happened in 2013. We saw 2017. So these are not things we can pretend not to see. We have seen them before. We have seen the targeting of journalists. We have seen the targeting of lawyers. We have seen the targeting of human rights defenders. We have seen the targeting of our children. What are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? Me, as far as I am concerned, when I see what I see, I call it what it is. Those that don't like it, well, Kenya is home to more than 55 million people whose needs and interests are important, more than a clique of 2 or 3 people who are in positions of power. Kenya as well is a global hub. When there's no peace in Kenya, when there is instability in Kenya, there is trouble in Sudan, there will be trouble in Somalia, there will be trouble in Ethiopia, there will be trouble in Rwanda. Where do these regions turn to? We have hosted conferences for peace when Sudan was at war. When Somalia was at war, their leaders were meeting in Nairobi. But now, Nairobi is not even livable for Kenyans themselves. So what do you do when you're pushed against the wall? You fight back. And how do you fight back? You use what you've got at your disposal. I am a communicator. I talk for a living. I get paid by the word. I speak, I write. I do all of these things to create awareness, to sound the alarm, to challenge, to warn, to caution, even to incite. Because in days like this, when life at home has become unlivable, we must talk about what we are facing. Because look, we have nowhere to run. I have been doing stories about what is happening with immigration. Think about the US, think about Canada, think about Western countries that used to offer refuge. They are saying no more. Their borders are closing. Yeah, we have got to reckon with what is going wrong at home. And if you're not brave enough to say enough is enough, how many of us can fit in our foreign countries where we are running for refuge? We cannot all fit there. Our mothers are at home. Our children are there. Our fathers are at home. Our brothers are at home. We must fight for our country. Look at what is happening in Tanzania, Uganda. Now Kenya is a tripartite of terror. 3 despots, authoritarian leaders have come together to say, if you speak about what is wrong with this country, I'm going to come after you and I'm going to kill you. I say they don't have any right. They don't have the right to attack citizens. They are elected by citizens. The citizens give them the mandate to govern, and the citizens can take that mandate away. And I'm being very specific when I speak about Samia Suluhu Hassan, that is Tanzania, William Ruto in Kenya, and Museveni, Kaguta Museveni in Uganda. They are working in tandem to terrorize citizens. You cannot speak about what is wrong in Kenya today because you could be shot dead. Or they can come to your home and harass your mother and everybody else and make life unlivable. If you make a mistake of running to Uganda, they're going to find you there. As it has happened before, we saw what happened to activists, Kenyan activists and Ugandan activists who went to a neighboring country to help in the struggle. What happened to them? Their situation is not tenable. We must fight what is going on in our home countries because we need to create space for us and for generations to come, for democracy to thrive, for life to get better. We cannot keep talking about these things. We are saying no more. Enough is enough. I will not take it. Will you? I hope not. If you like this video, follow me on YouTube. Make your own video. Let us talk about this. The country is ours to lose. Kenya belongs to all of us.